All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lights Out podcast. It's been an incredible weekend for mixed martial arts, for boxing, for combat sports in general. We're excited to cover UFC 326, Zuffa Boxing 4, which crowned the inaugural Zuffa World Champion. We'll get into that. The Ring Magazine has posted their monthly matchups. The March matchups of the month will come after Zuffa 4's analysis, and then we'll be good to go. We'll get out of here. We've had two pretty long episodes covering the early half of February and the later half of February. So ultimately, March is not going to be as crazy, right? We already had an episode a little over a week ago, give or take. Um, and this should be a shorter episode where we're able to spend a little more time on the UFC and Zuffa instead of focusing on 10 different money matches that are going to be coming our way in 2026, right? We got, the last two episodes have been nuts. The boxing world has been going through a renaissance or getting ready to do so. Even the most pessimistic person would say this shit is interesting. It's interesting. We don't know where this is going, and we'll see what this looks like as time progresses forward. Without further ado, though, man, let's start with this UFC 326 card. All right. Let's start with the first two matches on the main card. We started off the main card of UFC 326 with a middleweight bout. Number 13, Gregory Rodriguez in the middleweight division, defeating number 15, Bruno Ferreira, by knockout. Okay, and then that takes us right into our second fight. A quick start to the main card here, right? We go from middleweight to lightweight, and in this lightweight bout, we have Drew Dober defeating Michael Johnston with a knockout. 2 for 2 on knockouts to start off UFC 326. What did you think about both of these fights, Ant?
Man, it was awesome, man. I love Gregory Rodriguez, man. RoboCop, man. He's so entertaining to watch. I love his finishing power and his aggression. Like he earned it, man. He earned that win on Saturday for sure. As far as Drew Dober, man, well, I didn't think Dober would honestly get a knockout, dude. I thought this fight would go to a decision, but hey, man, classic Drew Dober power, man. Like this, he was very good, man. He fought like how his old self would, man. It was very chaotic and very entertaining. So yeah, I mean I did like Dober's durability and his pressure, man. That was actually really cool to see too. But yeah, man, it was a both these fights were really good for what they were. A good way to start UFC 326, and it's rare we get two knockouts back to back, right? I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, definitely a fun way to start off the main card here. And then we get to our third fight of the night as well as our co-main, right? We have a bantamweight fight smack dab in the middle of the main card. We see Raul Rosas Jr. defeat the number 13 bantamweight in the world, Rob Font, by decision. Rosas basically smothered Rob Font and will be getting a rank in the bantamweight division. He's definitely been one of those up-and-coming guys that has been fun to watch for the past 6 to 10 months, whatever it's been, maybe even a year. And then let's talk about the co-main before I hand it back off to you, and then we'll get into the BMF title. That we go back to middleweight in this co-main as we have the number 7 middleweight in the world, Chao Borralho, defeating the number 8 middleweight in the world, Rainer de Ritter, by decision. Right, this was a close fight for the most part. It was a good fight. It was a good co-main. Both of these fights were good for different reasons. It was just good to see Rosas put on a master class in grappling. And then it was good to see Borralho, do his thing. What were your thoughts on both of these fights before we get into the main event?
Man, dude, Rojas, man, he's just impressed. He keeps impressing me, man. That kid is something special. I mean, he just basically smothered the shit out of Rob Font, man. I honestly thought Rob Font would put up a better fight than this, but man, that wrestling, man, is amazing. And one thing I did notice, you noticed it too, but Rojas's cardio, man, like his cardio has definitely improved a lot. Like especially from his earlier fights, man. I mean, that was always one of my big complaints with him was that like Rojas, like his cardio was not like the best, but now he's gotten a lot better with it, man. Like, and then he's gotten a lot better with his cardio for sure, and then his control, man. That he had, it was just pure domination from Rojas, man. And I think I think this goes to show that he's maturing like as he goes on, man. I mean, he's only, how old is he? What, 20? He's like not even like 21, right? I don't remember.
He's a young buck
He's
for
a young
sure.
buck for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's gonna keep learning every single time, man. And as far as Bahalio, man, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I think I even said it on the show. I think I said the Ritter was gonna win. Maybe I think I said it, but I could be wrong. Dude, I doubted Bahalio, man. Dude, I didn't think he'd beat the Ritter, especially. And the reason why I say that is because, like, I mean, the Ritter's just been dominating, man. I mean, look at how he beat Robert Whitaker. I mean, that was just domination. But hey, Bahalio weathered the storm, man. And I even wrote on here. It said he controlled the distance extremely well, and his striking was so much sharper, dude. It was almost impressive. But I gotta tip my hat to Bahalio, man. Like this was a really good fight for. This is a good showcase for him, man. But man, I didn't think the Ritter Raynor would lose like that, man. But hey, what a surprise!
Yeah, man, definitely surprising. I definitely thought it'd be a little closer. It was already close, but I definitely thought Raynor de Ritter would, handle a little bit more business. It was cool to see Rosas though. He's definitely becoming one of those dark horses in the bantamweight division for me right now. You know me. This is a boxing podcast. This is the Lights Out podcast. I like when fighters stand on their feet and strike. And Rosas did not really do too much of that, right? He was definitely getting that ground game work going, and it's very rare that I enjoy a fight like that. I'm going to be completely honest with you on that, but I really did enjoy seeing Rosas do his thing in the bantamweight division here, getting himself a rank, getting himself a number next to his name, which is very important in UFC. Now let's get to this main event, right? And obviously, this is going to be an interesting conversation for sure. In the main event of UFC 326, we saw Charles Oliveira defeat Max Holloway by decision, basically kept him on the ground for a full 25 minutes and became our new BMF champion. All right. Now, I sang the praises of the BMF title in our last episode. I sang the praises of this fight. And I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't, because I thought Oliveira would take Holloway's game to Holloway. I don't know why I thought that, because obviously it's a stupid thing to think. Because what happened, the more realistic thing, and what everyone else expected besides me, like, let's keep it real, was Oliveira to wrestle Holloway to the ground for 25 minutes. And that's exactly what happened. This is the new thing that's happening in almost every division, right? Wrestle your opponent to the ground for 25 minutes. Don't let him do shit. Control the whole fight. The decision will be yours. We've been seeing that, right? We saw that with Chimaev, who I love. We saw that with Islam in the past X amount of fights, pretty much almost every Islam fight, except for when he knocked Volkanovski out, which was freaking badass. We've seen that with Marab. We've seen it happen in every division, and that BMF championship really resembled the guys that stand and fight, the mid 2000s UFC style. That's what that BMF championship meant. Keyword past tense, meant. Because now Oliveira will seemingly make the BMF title like every other championship. 25 minutes of graps. And I know some of y'all love that, all right? Don't get it twisted. I understand. This isn't the place, though. This is called the Lights Out Podcast, watching motherfuckers get their shit rocked. Sorry, that's the truth, all right? Like, so that's where we're at, okay? If you like the cuddling for 25 minutes. That's good because that's what we saw here in the main event. But I'm sure you agree with me, Ant. Obviously, that's not why we watch this. We watch this and we watch boxing for the striking, to be completely real.
I mean, this was such a weird ass fight, bro. I mean, this is like you said. I mean, this felt like an Islam fight, or like hell, even like Marab. We can throw him in there too, like you said. Like
Did you
that,
expect that from Oliveira? Did you I mean, like, it makes so much sense, like hindsight being 2020, that Oliveira comes at Max Holloway with a ground game that is completely formidable, that is early and often. It makes complete sense. But is this what you expected
I
going into
mean,
the fight?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like this is kind of what I expected with Oliveira, because I mean, the thing is we know Oliveira is a good striker, but he's way better at grappling, though. That's the thing with him. He's a way better grappler. Like I mean, look at. I mean, didn't he? He won the title off of a submission, for God's sake, man. The UFC title off of submission. So I mean, he's better at grappling, and I have a weird feel. I had that feeling that I knew he was gonna try to out grapple Max going into this. Like he wasn't gonna stand and bang with him. Like, and granted, I'll give Oliveira some credit. He did he did strike. He did manage to stand and bang with him for a little bit, but it was here and there, and it was just so weird, man. Like I don't even I can't even put into words like what that was. Like that was such a weird ass performance, and that I think that kind of goes to show that maybe the BMF belt pretty much died. I think the BMF belt basically died that night. I mean, what else can we really say? I mean, this he just basically just wrestled him like on the ground for 25 minutes. And I get it. This is MMA, right? And this is it's part of the sport, but at some point you have to at some point you have to say like, hey, we paid all this, like the fans have to say we paid all this money and we don't get an exciting fight. Like, come on, man. Like that's pretty weak. That's pretty weak. A pretty bad way to end the night, man. And this card had so much potential, man. But like I told you, like if your undercard fights are good and your main event sucks, then how good was the pay per view overall? Like this was so weird, man. Like I feel so bad for Max, and I love Charles Oliveira, man. He's one of my favorites, like right now. But weak ass performance, man. Very very weak, very weird.
Yeah, man. Super, super unfortunate, man. It's a good question that you propose, right? If the undercard is good, but the main event sucks, then how good was the show? And it's hard to tell, right? It's hard to tell. I wasn't even watching rounds 3, 4, and 5. I gave up midway through the second round. I was like, Oliveira's got it. And it's very depressing to say, but you might be right, bro. The BMF title might be dead. It's tough. It's freaking tough because this, like I said, we sang its praises in the last episode previewing the UFC 326 card.
Right.
I expected Oliveira to try and stand and bang a little bit more.
Yeah,
I
me
did
too.
expect the grappling to come into play, but I expected to get some sweet feet, some sweet on the ground, on the floor, on your feet action within the first 2 rounds at least. But we didn't get any of that.
Yeah, and that's the weird part about that, bro. Is that, like we did not get that at all. Like, I mean, like I said, I mean, Oliveira is more known for his grappling than he is like his. I mean, he's a how do I say? He's more of like an all around fighter though. Like with him, like sometimes he'll strike and then sometimes he'll just grapple you. Like I'll try to out grapple you, and I guess he just decided to go full on Dagestani mode, I guess or whatever. But oh my god, it's so weird, man. Like I get it. This is MMA, but this is the Lights Out podcast, man. Like this is I wanted a knockout or something, and I honestly I gave up by like the fourth round, dude. I was like, nah, it's this fight sucks. And I just kind of like and like even looking at these scorecards, bro. Like I'll even read them out to you. Like, dude, 50-45 on all three of them. That's terrible.
Yeah, it definitely is. I will say one good thing that we did get out of the UFC 326 show Before I get into that, actually, I did want to comment. I mean, the fact that we're not shilling out money like it's a pay-per-view anymore does make it a little bit easier, right? The fact that the numbered events are on Paramount Plus now, it does make it a lot easier, right? It was unbelievable when we would get fights like this after paying the 50, 60, $80 price, whatever it is. But ultimately, yeah, I rest in peace the BMF title, man. It's tough. Let's get
Yeah.
off this, depressing subject because I really did have a place in my heart for the BMF title, and I do consider it dead. Oliveira didn't stand and bang for shit. Um, but piggybacking off of the Paramount Plus thing, we're in a new era of UFC, right? We don't have to pay for the pay-per-views every year. And here I was thinking we might have to pay for the White House card. But we have got the White House card fully announced, and we can completely confirm that it will be available with a monthly subscription to Paramount Plus. The UFC has completely gotten away from the pay-per-view model. I figured we'd get one pay-per-view a year from them with the White House card. I figured that was the new model. It's not, and nonetheless, that's exciting. Not only because we don't have to pay for the pay-per-view, but because it's a new era in UFC, right? We are now going to get, I don't know if it's going to be every year. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it is every year, but we are going to get what are called UFC freedom fights. And in the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, this event is called UFC Freedom Fights 250. I know it's I know it could be confusing because, we got the numbered pay-per-views in the 230 range right now. And then this one is called Freedom Fights 250. It's called 250 because, 1776 was 250 years ago. That is what they are referring to there. So I want to be clear. But we did get this full 6-fight super card that will make us American fans happy with the standing and striking, in my opinion, especially with this main event. Oh, my brother in Christ. As we have Ilia Topuria versus interim champion Justin Gaethje for the UFC lightweight championship of the world. In our co-main, will crown an interim UFC heavyweight champion as Alex Pereira, the newest heavyweight of UFC, takes on Cyril Gane, somebody who had Tom Aspinall in their crosshairs, but unfortunately poked him in the eye pretty severely, and the fight had to end. We'll get to Tom Aspinall in a second. Don't you worry. You know what? Screw it. Before we get to the rest of the card, let's get into it now. Tom Aspinall, the UFC heavyweight champion, has indeed hired Eddie Hearn as his new agent in what was a move that was intended to make Dana White, shiver. Eddie Hearn now stands between the UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall and Dana White when it comes to booking a fight. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Tom Aspinall does have one more fight left on his contract. But with one
Yeah,
fight left,
yeah,
yeah,
I think so. He does.
with one fight left, we have those contract negotiations looming. And this is interesting because Eddie Hearn and Dana White have been quote unquote feuding, depending on who you ask. If you ask Dana White doesn't give a shit. The truth to that is unclear, right? But Eddie Hearn is out for blood against Dana White after seeing Opataya go to Zuffa, after seeing Conor Benn go to Zuffa, right? Matchroom has been gutted by Zuffa Boxing. And now Eddie Hearn plants himself between Dana White and the UFC heavyweight champion, which is probably why we are seeing this interim heavyweight championship fight instead of seeing Tom Aspinall on the White House card. It's not like anybody was clamoring for Tom Aspinall to be on the White House card anyways. I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if they had zero plans for Tom Aspinall there, unless John Jones was in the mix. But it seems like he was asking for too much money. Anywho, to reiterate, right, main event of the UFC White House card was formerly now known as UFC Freedom Fights 250. What is the main event of that card, UFC's big yearly show, is Ilya Topuria versus Justin Gaethje for the UFC Lightweight Championship, and then the co-main is Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane for the interim UFC Heavyweight Championship. And then we have four more fights, right? We have Sean O'Malley taking on Aman Zabi. We have Mauricio Rufy taking on Michael Chandler, which is going to be freaking awesome. We have Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dacus. And we have Diego Lopez taking on Steve Garcia to open up this 6-fight card. Dude, we have some real badasses on this Freedom Fights card. I understand a lot of people aren't happy with the Freedom Fights card. What do you think, Ant? What are your thoughts on this card? Does this excite you? And am I being
I'll be
too
honest.
optimistic? Am I being too
No, I don't think
optimistic?
you're being. I don't think you're being too optimistic. I just think that I feel like all this hype was basically. I feel like it was too overhyped. I feel because I mean I knew going like. I'm gonna kind of let's rewind real quick. Let's go back to Gaethje versus who did Gaethje just fight? Fucking who the fuck did he just fight? Oh, he fought Patty. Dude, I knew as soon as Gaethje won, I knew Topuria was gonna eventually come around the block. I knew that was gonna happen. I didn't think it would be this soon, but I mean, hey, I mean, that'll be a hell of a main event. Pereira and Gane. I feel like I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that fight. If they would have brought back John Jones, bro, I think that it would have been Alex versus Jones. I think Gane is very lucky to even be in that position.
I mean, we can consider him to be victorious against Tom Aspinall. I will say
I
that
don't.
he was
I don't.
fucking
I don't
kicking
count
his
that shit.
ass.
He was kicking his ass, but then the fucking eye poke, bro. I mean, we can't like. I literally
I'm
just
not
found
mad
out.
about Gon. I'm not mad about Gon on this card against Alex Pereira. That's
I'm not
actually a fight
mad.
that I think is justified, and I'm excited to see it.
I'm
In
not
fact,
mad.
honestly, seeing that Cyril Gane was going to fight Alex Pereira for the interim heavyweight championship is the fight that made me excited, right? I pretty much knew we were getting Ilya versus Justin Gaethje, and that fight excites me. Of course it does. So that fight actually put the card over for me personally. I will say that much. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I mean, I just feel like a lot of people expected like look. If I look at this card, I mean, Rufy versus Chandler. I feel like McGregor's supposed to be in that position, but I mean, we all kind of knew like he wasn't going to come back, and he never will come back. Like that fight's just never going to happen. Him and Chandler will never happen. John Jones will never fight again. I don't think so. He's too. It's. I feel like people got their expectations too high. I think, and
Yeah.
I do think that I do think it kind of like I feel like Dana White kind of how do I say it. I mean, the hype was always going to be there, right? But I feel like he kind of overhyped it for. I mean, this is pretty much just a. This is a good card. I mean, don't get me wrong, but this is like, oh, okay. Like I expected a little bit more. I expected like a couple more bigger names, but hey, man, I mean, this is a pretty stacked card. I mean, because you got Lopez still, you do got Bo Nickel, you got Zahabi versus O'Malley. That's gonna be a good fight. And then of course you
Yeah.
got Alex and Gone. Like, I mean, this is a solid card. This is a pretty solid card for what it is.
Yeah, I kind of went into it with minimum expectations. I kind of went into it expecting something like this, and when I did see that, when it was all said and done, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a good time. Fuck it." You know what I mean? Like, each fight makes sense, and each fight represents the United States of America, at least with one of the fighters, and each fight has a fighter that I'm excited to see. So I'm excited for Freedom Fights 250. It's going to be cool. And I hope it's a yearly occasion. I think that's the future for UFC, right? I think if you have the numbered events be what they are, be what they've turned into with these title fights not being as fun as they were in the 2010s and the 2000s, admittedly. You know what I mean? Like that can be what it is and then you can kind of build the stars because ultimately look at it like this. The American fans are the ones that are most upset, right? Because they want it. There's not a lot of Americans. There's not as much Americans as there used to be in the championship fights, and the championship fights are all about grappling, whereas we probably do prefer to see people getting kicked in the mouth and shit. Um, so you take these American fans and you get, you let the numbered pay-per-views do their thing or the numbered events do their thing, and you get these American fans excited for freedom fights once a year, right? You have Sean O'Malley fight on those cards. You have Justin Gaethje fight on those cards. You have the up and coming American fighters who are going to stand and bang fight on those cards. I think even if the current state of UFC isn't ideal for what the American fans want, UFC and the state of mixed martial arts is more than capable of putting on one yearly show that showcases what the American fans want to see. And that is why I'm excited for the future. And I am excited to see freedom fights happen around the 4th of July every year. I hope that's what they do. I don't see why not. And I'm sure this event's going to be fun. Anything else before we get into boxing?
I mean, there's not really much I could really say. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, a lot of American fans are pissed that like a lot of these fighters like are basically just grappling now. I mean, I get it. I mean, this is not the GSP era. This is not the Anderson Silva era where like you expected like you expected like chaos or like hey we can even go back to like the 2000 like early 2000s where like Liddell and Couture and like all these other greats like it's not that era is kind of like gone. I mean, a lot of these fighters are fighting like Matt Hughes now. Like, I mean, like let's be honest, man. Like a lot of these fighters nowadays are just like heavily reliant on like the Matt Hughes and like and the Josh Koscheck wrestling style now. Like,
They have to. They have to, right? The sport has evolved, and that's okay. We at the end
yeah,
of the day, we can't be too upset about this,
no, of
but
course
it's
not.
also okay for us to crave what was once, the state of the art. And these freedom fights can give us the nostalgia, can give us the style that we crave all year. That we
Right.
get every now and then. We get it every now and then. It's not completely gone,
No, it's not
but
gone.
yeah, I just think I think I see the movement of Dana White with the freedom fights and the letting go of the pay-per-view model and the letting go of the numbered events and letting them be what they are, letting MMA be what it is. Like I see all those as good things right now. And ultimately, yeah, it's sad what happened to the BMF title this past weekend. But I do want to get into this idea, right? I kind of planted the seeds in your head yesterday for this idea, and I think this would help. You're going to see the pro wrestling fan in me while I explain this idea for UFC. And I already know some of you UFC diehards listening right now are going to hear my idea right now and say, "What? No." Fine. Fine. Okay. Just listen and sleep on it. Because honestly, I think this can work, okay? We're getting to a point in the UFC where we're hyping up these big fights for UFC gold. And when it comes fight night, 25-minute cuddle fest, okay? I'm sorry if I'm pissing off you Brazilian jiu-jitsu motherfuckers by saying that, okay? I'm just joking around. You don't need to put me in the sleeper hold. Please God, don't find me. Don't look for my address on the internet cuz you could probably find it. Um Anywho, we're getting to a point where more often than not, we are hyped for a title fight and it does not deliver because the person on the top of the mountain is too freaking good at their craft. And for some of us, okay, it's not fun to watch someone who's too good at their craft. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the only person I give grace to with this current era of UFC is Islam Makhachev. Okay. Um, but I think it's time to introduce what we wrestling fans call mid card championships in UFC because the BMF title is done. That was like the saving grace for an unsatisfied American audience. It's gone now. I'm sorry. So we have to think about what we can do next. And I think if every division had two mid card championships, such as we'll use the lightweight division, for example. Instead of the lightweight champion of the world, it is the United States lightweight champion and the international lightweight champion. I think if we had these kind of mid card titles in each division, we could make the undercards of UFC numbered events more interesting. We can make UFC fight nights more interesting. And we can make these freedom fights, these super cards that take place at the White House once a year, more interesting. And here's how I would do it. You don't have to be a white American to fight for the United States Championship. If you live in the United States, you qualify for a United States Championship fight in your division. If you live internationally, you qualify for an international championship fight in your division. When you are ready to go for the world title, the lightweight world championship, and you win, you relinquish your mid card championship. If you lose, you hold on to it. What are your thoughts on this, Ant? What if every division had more than a world title that wasn't going to deliver the big fight? What if we had a United States welterweight champion and an international welterweight champion? What if we had an international and United States champion in every division? What are your thoughts?
Well, I did want to bring up another idea that I think they should bring back. Bring back tournaments. Like Strikeforce did them. Of course, Pride FC used to do them. Like, why not bring back the tournaments? Like, I feel like that would make it a lot. I mean, you don't have to do. I'm not expecting one night tournaments because I mean that died a long ass time ago. But I mean, like in the span of like a month or at least like 2 months, like why not do a tournament like that? I think that would honestly clear up the division too. I mean, and plus, I mean, winning the
I
tournament kind of guarantees title shot. And then as far as the US and the US and international titles go, I think this could benefit the UFC because like now it gives the top 15 like something to fight for. And then like it gives all like whether you're international or US, I think like it gives you something to fight for. And I think it, like you said, it would make the fight nights more interesting. And like and if we could do the international one, like I mean the UFC is already an international brand. Like I mean, look at where they're at: Abu Dhabi, London, Australia, Brazil, Mexico. Like this could benefit like all the fighters from all these different nations. I think that would be cool. That'd be a good idea. I think. I mean, it adds more stakes, and then it gives these guys something to fight for too. Like not guys that are outside the top 10 or the top five. Like it gives them something to fight for. But
even
also bring
even
back
just
tournaments.
yeah, even just a silver championship, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Pride used to do that back in the day. I mean, they had the Grand Prix tournaments. I mean, look, I mean, granted, I mean they were all one night. They were mostly one night, or like they would take over. They would usually be like in the span of a few events, but like I feel like that would make it a lot more interesting. Like do what Pride, do what Strikeforce, or hell, even do what Bellator used to do too, because Bellator used to host one night tournaments too. Like you can do that too. Like there's so many options here, man. You can if you don't want to do the U.S. and international title, fine. Let's just bring back tournaments.
Yeah, yeah. I see tournaments being a pain in the ass. Did I say silver tournament? I meant silver championship. Like just
No,
like
you
a
said
silver.
silver championship. You're good.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, if you don't want to do the US and international titles, but I think, I think it could be good. I think it can make the UFC more interesting if they did something like that. But if they don't want to have two per division, you could have one per division and it just be a silver champion. You know what I mean? Like call it whatever you want, but it's basically the B champion of the division. Mid, you could call it whatever. Anywho,
I
the
mean,
whole
is it fair to say that that's kind of what the BMF title is for? Because I mean, that's kind of what it felt. It felt like for a little bit. Because I mean, you had like Jorge Masvidal. Like that's how kind of how Jorge Masvidal got like his rise to fame. I feel like that's what the BMF title was supposed to be. But now that it's dead, like it's like now what?
Yeah, you put one in every division, and you have like this is the silver lightweight champion of the world or whatever, like
right.
whatever you want to call it. Two would be cool in fortuitous, but realistically, I don't see them doing that.
I mean,
Even
they
though
could do it. I mean, like, boxing has multiple championships. Why can't the UFC have multiple titles? Like, that's what does it. That's what I don't understand is that like how can boxing have all these titles and like all these different like heads of like all these bodies, but the UFC can't like, dude. You can do a U.S. and international title or like I said the tournaments again. Like I keep repeating myself, but come on, man. Like they got to do something.
I think I don't want to see it get like boxing, but obviously the UFC has such a stronghold, I should say, on MMA that it'd be easy to introduce at least one mid card title per division, right? Two would be a moderate challenge. I think they could get it done, but at least one would be cool. Ultimately, with tournaments, I don't see like the big fighters that fight on fight night and numbered events being down for tournaments. I more so see like the Dana White Contender Series having like 6 to 8 man tournaments per division, like focusing on a division that has enough young guys that can be in a 6 to 8 man tournament or a 12 man tournament. I mean, whatever they got, you know what I mean? I could see the Dana White Contender Series one day going that route with a lot of guys that want to get their reps. And you have the first round on one night, you have the semifinals on the second night, you have the finals on the third night. I think that's something that can be done with the Dana White Contender Series and really champion some up and coming guys the way that the Dana White Contender Series does. Anywho, yeah, I would love to see UFC create something outside of the World Championship. They did with the BMF title. That's dead now. Their new their new idea for a mid card championship of sorts should be one in every division. I think the roster can handle that very easily. And I think it takes what is the mundane redundancy of fight night, something that is for the diehard fans, and makes it appeal to casual UFC fans just a little bit more. And I know, that's not what the diehards probably want. But at the end of the day, we're in a new era and we have to embrace it.
I mean, let me say this real quick because I'm actually going I actually went on a subreddit real quick and I actually found a old Pride FC tournament bracket. And a lot of people, from what I'm looking at, like from these comments, like some people, like some of the hardcore MMA fans might want this, like the tournaments back. I mean, some of the names we had on this tournament: Shogun Hua, Vanderlei Silva, Sakuraba, like Fedor. Fedor was probably on this tournament somewhere. I can't find him. I'm just throwing out names, but like, there's so many like guys that there's so many like I feel like this would clear the air. I think, or like at least like help out like who's the next man up or like who's the next guy up. And I think this builds stars too. I mean,
I'm not surprised that big fans want the tournaments back. And I
I want it
really
back
don't
personally.
I really don't see like the big UFC fighters being down for tournament because that means that they have to put their livelihood at risk, right? Dana White keeps them around for a decent price for himself because he only makes them fight 2 times a year. The only people that fight more than twice a year are the people that are down for it, like Perea recently,
Right.
right?
Look how that
Um,
turned out.
yeah. So, but I think you can convince people that are just coming up, people featured in the Dana White Contender Series, and the winner of the tournament, gets a contract, or like whoever make both men in the finals get a contract and a mid card title shot, and then you'll have a fight for third place or whatever. You'll have, and that person will get a contract too, something like that. You know what I mean? But we haven't even touched boxing yet. We're almost 40 minutes in, all UFC. So it's time to get into boxing. It's we have our dreams for what the UFC will evolve into. At the end of the day, I think we can trust Dana White to come up with some new ideas and make things interesting and really embrace a newer era because we know he's capable and we know he's willing. And I'm sure the UFC will be fine, even though the BMF title just went to absolute shit. Let's get into Zuffa Boxing 4, right? Zuffa Boxing makes history here. 24 hours after UFC 326 by crowning their first ever Zuffa world champion. We had Jay Opataya, the current Ring Magazine cruiserweight champion, defending that belt and fighting for the inaugural Zuffa cruiserweight championship against the number 10 cruiserweight in the world, Brandon Glanton. And you know, before we get into what this fight was, I do want to talk about the undercard. Zuffa Boxing has a 3-match undercard or a 3-match main card here. So we have an opener and we have a co-main. In the opener, we saw Pablo Rubio Jr. defeat Adan Palma by decision in a featherweight bout. And we saw Ricardo Salas defeat Jesus Saracho by TKO in a welterweight bout. This is what I want to say before I get into both of these fights. I enjoyed the first two fights of Zuffa Boxing 4 more than I enjoyed the main event. And you got to understand, the main event of Zuffa Boxing 4 saw the greatest cruiserweight actively in the world right now fighting for the first ever Zuffa Boxing championship. So there was a lot at stake, right? The stakes couldn't be any bigger in the Zuffa 4 main event. And even with all that going on, Zuffa Boxing is establishing itself as a diamond mine for Mexican and Chicano fighters, right? We've seen Zuffa 1, where we saw uh, Julian. What's Julian's last name in the welterweight division? Is it Rodriguez? Julian
Yeah,
Rodriguez, right?
Rodriguez. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw Julian Rodriguez and Kane Sandoval have a welterweight money fight. First ever main card fight at Zuffa Boxing. And then we saw Misal have a masterclass. And then we saw Callum Walsh also have a masterclass. What I'm trying to get at here is we get excited for the main events of Zuffa Boxing, but at the end of the day, what ends up delivering just as much, if not more than the main event, is the co-main or the opener. And that's what happened here in Zuffa 4, in my opinion. Okay. Don't get me wrong. It was really badass to see Opataya and Brandon Glanton just have a fucking brawl. But I gotta say, I'm impressed with Ricardo Salas, right? Very impressive welterweight. Add another very impressive welterweight to the list of names that Zuffa Boxing has established in their first 4 shows. And then Pablo Rubio Jr. got knocked down twice in one round. The scorecard read 10-7 against Pablo Rubio Jr. with that specific round, and he still picks up the decision after the fight goes the distance. I mean, guys, this is boxing, okay? I understand it's great that we have Opataya. I understand it's great that we have Callum Walsh versus Misal Rodriguez. It's probably going to be for not only the Zuffa middleweight championship, but probably for the Ring Magazine middleweight championship as well. We have all these great things cooking up, all these money main events for Zuffa Boxing cooking up. Well, we just had one, and then we have the other one low key cooking up. But the main event doesn't even matter, man. Zuffa is establishing itself early and often as a diamond mine for Mexican warriors and Chicano warriors. Sound off. Let me know what you think about all things Zuffa 4, man, and then we'll get into the fucking IBF situation.
Nah, man. Like I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like I gotta give Rubio credit, man. Like the fact that he was able to get up twice after being knocked down twice. Fuck, man. That's what we live for, man. Like chaos and comebacks, man. Stuff like that. Like these are the fights that I love to watch. Like these slugfest, these two Chicanos, two Mexicanos, like going to war with each other, man. Like it's amazing. It's amazing to see, and I got to give both these guys their due, man. I think both of them fought really well. I think that it was a very technical fight. I think Rubio had the cleaner punches and the higher output, but dude, Palma had some amazing moments, but damn, man, he just couldn't keep up the pace with he couldn't capitalize on those moments. I think, but man, like I have to give my credit to both of them, man. That was an awesome fight. And then as far as Salas and Saracho, man, dude, I think I texted you after the fight, like, dude, Sanacho was doing really good for a bit, and then he kind of like slowed down. Like, I don't know what happened there. Like, that was weird. It was very competitive, man. This fight was extremely competitive. Um, and Salas was landing very like clean strikes, man, clean counters as the fight wore on, and I just thought it was really good, man. I this is this is the fights we live. These are the fights we live for, man. Like, I thought they were really good. I think I don't get me wrong. I love the master classes. I love your Opatayas. I love your fucking your Walshes. Like, I love all these guys, man. They're all good. But these are the fights I want to see. Like the slugfest, the chaos, like the knockdowns. Like, come on, man. This is what we live for, right? This is the Lights Out podcast, right? So this is what we live for. And hey, man. I mean, these were two damn good fights, man. I can't really say much else. I mean, without repeating myself, but yeah, these were two incredible fights, and it was awesome. Like, I loved it.
Two damn good representations of the Latino spirit when it comes to boxing, right? And showing us a little bit of range, right? The Rubio versus Palma fight was way different than the Salas versus Saracho fight. You know, Salas versus Saracho was just in the trenches, and then Rubio versus Palma was a little bit, more distance based. It was a little bit more of a variety based, I would say. Um, and then of course Opataya just putting on a masterclass, Brandon Glatton being a freaking presence, being a force in the fight, but ultimately was just outmatched by Opataya's world class boxing ability. And we have our first Zuffa champion. We have seen the Zuffa belt across the waist of the best cruiserweight in the world. And it was cool for Zuffa, like Opataya versus Glanton was their first championship match. And they did it as big as they can do it. All right. This was as big as it could be. And both fighters lived up to the hype and showed us not a boxing match, but a fucking slugfest. And, that's great. That's great. I think the ref was interjecting himself way too much. I'm sure they'll fix it. It's their fourth event. And honestly, Glanton didn't stand much of a chance. Opataya really didn't give him any openings at all. And Opataya, first ever Zuffa champion, the first ever Zuffa champion is crowned in the cruiserweight division. Now that they have done their big, you know, sensational first ever Zuffa belt fight, I want to see the second one be Callum Walsh versus Misael Rodriguez. I want to see the second one be for a division in boxing that is lackluster right now in the middleweight division. I'm not talking super middleweight. I'm just talking middleweight, right? The middleweight division in all of boxing is not as great as the welterweights, not as great as the heavyweights, not as great as the cruiserweights. And what a fantastic opportunity for Zuffa Boxing to take two fighters, two boxers that were on the main card of the first ever show and have them fight and represent a division that isn't really, known for being the best of the best right now in boxing. I think that's a good second move, especially since Zuffa Boxing has established itself as a young man's game, as a diamond mine, as a place to cut your teeth. You know what I mean? Like, we had all this bullshit with the IBF Cruiserweight Championship being on the line and then not being on the line, and the IBF, doing what the sanctioning bodies do, which is a shame because if any sanctioning body deserves to be featured in the first ever Zuffa Cruiserweight Championship match, the first ever Zuffa World Championship match, it's the IBF, right? The IBF is the underdog international world championship. The IBF isn't the glam and glory like the WBA and the WBC. The IBF is for the B-sides. The IBF is for the guys that want to fucking box. And here we have this historic moment where we see a new championship for the first time since probably the IBF or the WBO. I can't remember. And the IBF isn't playing ball. I understand Dana White and Turkey are probably jerks fucking play ball, represent the IBF in this big fight. It just puts a sour taste in my mouth. Everything was fantastic. The fight was good, the presentation was good, the matchmaking was good, the undercard was good, and here's the IBF just being one little negative on an all positive show, in my opinion. I understand a lot of you diehard boxing fans aren't going to agree with me. You guys apparently ride for the sanctioning bodies from what I've seen online. But yeah, man, this leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I understand the frustration from the sanctioning bodies, but play ball because you guys look like a bunch of idiots right now. And maybe that's all you are, is just a bunch of idiots. What sound off on this shit, Ant? Maybe they're part of the reason. I'm sorry, they're part of the reason why boxing is in the shitter, right? And Zuffa comes along to
Yeah.
give fighters more options to put money into the sport. Be happy about the money being pumped into the sport, not only by Dana White but also by his excellence Turkey Al Sheikh. Like I don't get it sometimes, man. I don't get the community's backing of the sanctioning bodies because boxing has been boring for a while, and it's not all their fault, but a big part of it is their fault. I don't get the sanctioning bodies so unwilling to play ball to the point where they just look stupid and make things more confusing for fans. It's fucking petty. I'm sorry, man. I'll let you go. I'll let you sound off.
All right. Well, let me start off with the fight itself. Let me say this. I don't want to start off by saying I told you so, but come on, man. I knew Opatai was gonna walk out the winner. I mean, I told you, man. I told y'all, man. Opatai is something special, and I mean, he really is, man. I mean, this fight was really good for what it was. I think this was just a classic Jai Opatai performance. Granted, I did predict a knockout, and that didn't happen, which sucked. But I mean, it was good. I mean, Opatai. I have a couple notes here. So Opatai, dude, he closed the distance real early, and he showed amazing ring IQ. And of course, his body attacks, classic Jai Opataya, man. Like I said in the last episode, like he applies pressure on you, and he'll make sure you break. And he pretty much broke Glinton, dude. Like, it wasn't even fair at some points of the fight. Like, I felt bad. I honestly felt a little bad for Glenn because I mean this felt like a mismatch almost for him. But nah, dude, this is a classic Jai Opataya performance. And as far as the situation goes, man, dude, let's go. Let's just go.
I,
Jai,
I
let me. Can I?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Because I'm gonna sound off here, bro. Opataya getting stripped by the IBF is exactly the kind of bullshit that drives us crazy, doesn't it? You have one of the best cruiserweights in the world, a guy who actually wants to fight, who actually wants to stay active, and the punishment for that is losing his title that he earned, and just because he's fighting for another promotion? Are you kidding me? Like, that's stupid. Like, instead of rewarding a champion for taking the risk and putting it all on the line in this big fight for a brand new promotion, might I add you, in their very first championship fight, the IBF decides to act stupid and bullshit with this. And you gotta protect your body and protect your rules. No, like, come on, man. Like, and Opatai doesn't duck anyone. He's not Devin Haney. He's not. I'm sorry if I throw Canelo on the bus. He's not Canelo. He wants to fight. He literally said it himself at the post-fight interview. He may want to fight Zerto or David Benavidez down the line. So what are we doing here? Like, that is so backwards, man. Like, if boxing really wants to grow and compete with other combat sports, punishing fighters like this and taking opportunities away from them fucking sucks, and it kills the sport.
Dude, the sanctioning
Ugh.
bodies with all the new shit going on, right? Ring Magazine started putting on these money fights with the deepest pockets ever. And then a year after that, 2026, we have Zuffa Boxing come into play and become a diamond mine for up and coming fighters and feature its own championship, the first championship we've seen enter boxing in decades. and it creates buzz and interest, and the industry is ready to blow up again, or seems like it's taking steps to be. And it absolutely has a place for guys like Eddie Hearn. It absolutely has a place for the sanctioning bodies. The first ever Zuffa championship fight featured an IBF champion, and I
Yeah,
thought that that was fantastic.
but
But the
but
IBF can't get out of their own fucking way. Neither can any of the other sanctioning bodies.
no, of course not.
When Crawford was undisputed, the WBC stripped him of the belt. They can't get out of their own way. You know, when Alexander Usyk became undisputed, they stripped him of a belt. Can't get out of their way. You know who doesn't want to get in their own way? Ring Magazine and Zuffa Boxing. So now we are in an era where, yes, it is the pinnacle to be undisputed. But because that doesn't happen anymore because of the bullshit that goes on with the sanctioning bodies, it is now equally important, or will be soon enough, to be a Ring Magazine champion. That's already the case, in my opinion. And the Zuffa boxing promotion has every opportunity to earn that path, and they are walking the path right now. They're not there yet. I'm not going to sit here and say the Zuffa Cruiserweight Championship means the same thing that an undisputed Cruiserweight Championship does. I'm not going to say that shit.
No, of course not.
But I will say they are walking the path, and they are well on their way. And the only path that the sanctioning bodies are walking is the path out the fucking door. And that doesn't need to happen. They can the sanctioning bodies and their championships can absolutely still exist in the world of boxing, but they can't get out of their own way. And that's what we're seeing here.
And no,
Anything
dude,
else before we move on? Because this
and
shit is frustrating.
who does this benefit? It doesn't benefit the fighter. It benefits the body more than anything, because you're just basically promoting inactivity. You're promoting guys taking a year off, taking a couple months off, just so they can like fight a bum or a nobody that nobody's probably ever heard of. Like, I mean, I love Canelo to death, but I mean, I didn't know who the hell fucking who was the guy that
Mungia?
Mongia. Like, I didn't know. I mean, I never fucking heard of him. Like,
I'll be honest, I agree, but Mungia put up a good fight,
no,
dude.
Mongia did put up a good fight. I'll give him that. But this isn't about him. This is it fucking sucks, dude. Like, it chips away at the credibility of the sport, man. Like, and this is what drives me nuts, man. Like, this doesn't work. Like, we want to see the best compete. We want to see the best fight against each other. Like, and the fact that they're doing this, they've done this to Usyk, they've done this to Bud. Like, why, man? Like, why are you doing this? Like, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't make sense. And you said it yourself. Like, the IBF is just basically getting in their own way. Like, now I get why Ring Magazine and all these other guys are doing what they're doing, because IBF cannot get out of their way. Like,
None of the sanctioning bodies can. Not only was Turkey Al Sheikh joining the world of boxing an opportunity for the sanctioning bodies to receive the wake up call, they got a second opportunity when Dana White entered with Zuffa Boxing. And instead of responding to adversity well and earning, fighting for their credibility in the world of boxing, obviously they still have it, okay? Obviously the WBC championship still means something. Same with the WBA, same with the WBO, same with the IBF. Okay? Obviously these titles still mean something, but the way these organizations are moving is just pathetic. So they have a place in the world of boxing. They're Vince McMahoning this shit is really what it is. They would rather watch boxing be mediocre while they are the four crooks on top than watch people with deep pockets make fights happen and make boxing all that it can be in this new wave, this new renaissance that is upon us.
and at the end of the day, like, this is not Jai's problem. It's a problem for everybody else. Like, everybody who cares. Like, every time a champion gets punished for actually fighting, it basically sends the wrong message, and it basically says that rules and politics matter more than the actual fights. Like, we can see it, the fans can see it. I'm sure the fighters definitely see it. Like,
Opataya still wants undisputed. He made it very clear he still wants undisputed at the
and he
cruiserweight
should get
division,
undisputed. Like,
and he doesn't give a shit if the IBF strips him of his IBF cruiserweight title. He says if they strip me, I'll win it back, but I'm gonna go get all the other ones. He's probably gonna get the winner of Benavidez versus Zerto, and that comes up to my next point, right? Like, now that Dana White has clearly pissed off the sanctioning bodies, and now that the sanctioning bodies won't play ball, Dana White put the ball in the court of the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, the only major boxing promotion that is still running their own pay-per-views, the only major boxing promotion that has not succumbed to DAZN Ultimate. And it's okay that DAZN Ultimate features all the big fights from Queensberry, from Matchroom, soon enough from Top Rank if ESPN doesn't pick them up again. Like, it's okay that boxing has funneled into one streaming service. But I'm just pointing this out to say the PBC is still standing, man, still running their own pay-per-views in a world where Zuffa is mixing it up, in a world where the Ring magazine is the force in boxing. The PBC is still kicking, and Zuffa has put the ball in the court of Premier Boxing Champions. We have the Cinco de Mayo fight between Benavidez and Zerto coming up, and the winner of that is now encouraged not only by the fans, but by Zuffa Boxing themselves to take on Zuffa Cruiserweight Champion, Ring Cruiserweight Champion, Jai Opataya, which would just be a fucking fantastic fight. I don't care if it's on PBC. I don't care if it's on Zuffa. I will be there. And it doesn't matter which fight this is on, because if they strike a deal, play ball, and work together, the PBC and Zuffa Boxing, then we will see the best fight the best.
I mean, dude, it's a miracle PBC's even around, man. Like, it's crazy how like they literally started. I mean, it's nuts, man. And the PBC, honestly, I don't know if they should have died a long time ago because I feel like it's kind of harsh. But it's a miracle that they're even still like around, man. Like it's nuts, and the fact that Zuffa is willing to play ball, but the IBF and all these other guys are not, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, that's what sucks. Like, I mean, I even wrote here like like going back to the PBC, they really basically told all the different bodies. They just said, fuck your belts. We're building our stars basically. Like, that's basically what they're trying to do, and I feel like that's what Top Rank should do as well. Like, all these other promotions, Matt, like, they should just say, like, tell like these bodies, like, dude, fuck you. We're gonna just do what we want. I think
Yeah.
that would build up the sport a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to that point. I think a lot of people are going to have more courage, but I don't want it to be that, man. I want the Zuffa belt to be a next step in the right direction and put some fire under the asses of the promotions that have been lackluster and the sanctioning bodies which have been lackluster. I still want the WBC belt to be around, the WBL to be around, all the other ones too. I want those belts to be around because they still mean something and they could
Yeah,
still provide
for
a
sure.
service for the ecosystem of boxing and get theirs in the process.
Yeah,
But
because
they
these
can't
titles
get the
have
fuck
become.
out of their own way. I said it 1,000 times in this episode. And if
So,
they're
so,
not going
so
to get out of their own way,
oh.
then they are going to find themselves in utter irrelevance. We're not there yet, but goodness gracious, they are on that dangerous path. I'll let you go. Sorry.
No, I accidentally cut you off by accident. So what we basically, what if for the viewers, basically he basically just repeated what he said. He said that they're basically getting in their own way, but no, dude. I mean, all these titles, the WBA, they've been around for so long. Like, they're basically like, if it weren't for those titles, like, the fighters wouldn't have really much to fight for. I mean, when you look at all the champions over the years, Tyson, Ali, like, fucking hell, Usyk, like, fuck, like, Canelo, like, there's so many greats have won those titles, and the fact that they're all like now trying to get in each other's way is fucking sad, bro. Like it sucks, and I didn't mean to cut. I didn't mean not mean to cut you off there, my man. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents into that. So I'll basically let you have the floor.
You're all good, man. Don't worry about it. All
Yeah,
right, man. Well, I think we've ranted on and on about the sanctioning bodies enough because, man, like I, they have every opportunity to play ball here. And I understand it's not ideal. I understand Dana White is probably having ulterior motives and there's shit going on that we don't know about. I understand that. But you gotta put yourself in a position for success eventually. Anywho, let's move on. Before we get on out of here, dude, Ant and I were literally telling each other that this was going to be a shorter episode. Here we are at an hour and 5 minutes, but we're almost done here. Okay, stay patient. We have the March matchups of the month brought to you by the Ring Magazine. Okay, and we're going to go through them. The first matchup of the month was the main event of Zuffa Boxing 4 for the ring and inaugural Zuffa Cruiserweight Championship, Jai Opataya versus Brandon Glanton. That took place. Opataya is the first ever Zuffa Cruiserweight Champion, first ever Zuffa World Champion ever, and retains the Ring Magazine Cruiserweight title as well. Whether he's the IBF Cruiserweight Champion or not is fucking beyond us. Up to the IBF. And let's get into these other March matchups. We have on the 14th, on Saturday, we have the number 8 lightweight in the world, Jaza Dickens, taking on the number 3 lightweight in the world, Anthony Kakase, for the WBA junior lightweight title. On the 14th as well, we have a big show, right? The main event of another show is Arnold Barbosa Jr. versus Kenneth Sims Jr. in a welterweight bout, which will be a banger. That undercard there also has 2 fights that make the March matchups of the month, as Oscar Calazo takes on Jesse Otto, defending the WBA and WBO strawweight championship. And then Gabriela Fandura defends the undisputed flyweight championship against Viviana Ruiz on this card as well. Moving on to the next Saturday, the 21st of March, we have the number 1 middleweight in the world, Carlos Adames, taking on the number 8 middleweight in the world, Austin Williams, for the WBC middleweight title. And then on the 28th, midday, we have the Magnificent Seven put on by Queensberry. You could stream that on DAZN. Main event here is the number 7 heavyweight in the world, Moses Itama, taking on Jermaine Franklin, which is going to be a heavy-ass fight. All right. And then to close out the March matchups of the month, we actually have the main event and the co-main event of Premier Boxing Champions next show. Fundura versus Thurman, the number 2 super welterweight in the world. Sebastian Fundura defends the WBC super welterweight championship against Keith Thurman. And then that co-main event will be Frank Sanchez versus the number 9 heavyweight in the world, Richard Torres Jr. in an IBF heavyweight title eliminator. Those are your March matchups of the month. Just go check out Ring Magazine's Instagram. They'll have it pinned there, and that's a good indicator of what you should and shouldn't be watching in the world of boxing. It's of great help. All right. That's it. What do you think about these fights, man? What sticks out to you on the March matchups of the month list?
definitely Fundura and Thurman, man. I keep saying it. I mean, I was there when Thurman won one of his fights. I think when he was on that. It was I forgot what card it was, but he fought at the Dome here in San Antonio. When I was like 10, I remember watching that fight, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna be cool. This guy's gonna be something special." I think that fight stands out to me because you have 2 great fighters, man. Fundura obviously coming off, like I said, like that fight with Tim Tszyu, and then of course Thurman. Well, Thurman's just an entertaining guy. I mean, all around. And I think if I have actually 2 predictions here. This is for both fights. If Fundura keeps this to a mid to long range fight and stays disciplined, he can easily frustrate and outpoint Thurman. However, if Thurman can make this a headhunter war in short range, then he could probably win. But I think that fight's really close. And same with Sanchez versus Torres, man. A lot of people are saying this is a blowout fight, but it's not. I don't. They both have their strengths and their weaknesses, but I think this fight is gonna be as entertaining as it's gonna be entertaining. I honestly don't know who to pick, man. I think it's gonna it's gonna be close. I mean, Torres' aggression is can really make this fight a chess match for Sanchez if he goes punch heavy. But if Sanchez keeps his distance and he wins rounds, then Torres is gonna be in for a long night. And then yeah, I mean that's gonna be an interesting fight. And then what else we got? We got some of the zone cards. Some of these zone cards actually look pretty good from what I got. Liam Walsh, that's gonna be interesting. Arnold Barbosa and Sims is gonna be good. And then uh Gasa, I can't even say this fucking name. Like that's gonna be a good fight. Like Dickens versus Anthony, that's gonna be a damn good fight, man. Dublin, especially. Come on, that's gonna super featherweights, man. Like that's a very entertaining division. But yeah, man, this overall, I mean, this we're in a good spot, I think, for boxing. I mean, we're in a pretty solid spot. There's some good fights on here, and I think I'll definitely be tuning into all of these for sure. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, you know, the quote, the saying goes, the high tide raises all ships. Everything that the Ring magazine is doing and providing to the world of boxing, as well as Zuffa boxing in a different way, is creating a high tide. And now we are able to also feel the elevation of what's happening on DAZN, what's happening on Netflix in the world of boxing, right? Like we are seeing cool shit. Um, yeah, man. This episode was not supposed to be this long, but
No, it was
we
not.
had a good time, man. We speculated on some UFC, we speculated on boxing and the future of it, and we will have our next episode after the PBC pay-per-view, after Sebastian Fondura takes on Keith Thurman for the WBC super welterweight title on March 28th. We'll be back then. I'll let you sign off, Ant. This has been a great show, brother. Good to see you again, man.
This has been awesome, man. I know we were supposed to only go like I think like 30 minutes was like the time because we didn't have much, but that rant we had to let it out, man, because we know we all know how we feel. We know how we feel about this shit. But that's pretty much it, man. I mean, I want to give a shout out to my dog, my homie, Mr. Matt. Mr. Wrestling is bullshit. Best in the world out here. If it weren't for him, this wouldn't all be possible. I want to give a shout out to my my people, man. 210 represent. Man, I want to get rest in peace to the OG big dog, Mr. Carlos Carrasco. Um, and just want to say, man, big dogs for life. We we'll be back, man. But I'm Anthony Moreno, aka Boxing is Bullshit, aka Lights Out, aka whatever. We out, guys. Boom! Woo! Let's go, man.